Remy's Road to Pembroke. Chapter 1. Remy's unexpected adventure begins. Remy's little nose twitched with excitement as he peeked out of his travel crate. The world outside was so big and noisy. Trucks rumbled by, sounding like giant metal monsters. People hurried back and forth, their shoes click-clacking on the pavement. Wow, Remy thought, his big brown eyes wide. So this is a truck stop. The French Bulldog puppy was on his way to meet his new family in Pembroke. His crate sat near a big red truck while his humans went to get food. Remy's ears perked up at a loud announcement. "Last call for passengers heading east. Board now!" Suddenly, people started rushing around, grabbing bags and hurrying to their vehicles. In all the commotion, nobody noticed the small crate with the curious puppy inside. Remy watched as his humans got into their car and drove away. His little heart raced. "Wait!" he wanted to bark. "You forgot me!" But no sound came out. As time passed, Remy realized something was wrong. His humans weren't coming back. He was all alone at this big, scary truck stop. Remy's excitement turned to fear. His little body trembled and he let out a soft whimper. What would he do now? Just then, a kind voice broke through his worry. "Well, hello there, little fella. Are you lost?" Remy looked up to see a friendly face peering into his crate. It was a lady with crinkly eyes and a warm smile. She wore a baseball cap and a jacket with lots of patches. "Don't worry," the lady said, gently opening the crate. "I'm headed east. How about you come along for the ride?" Remy hesitated. His humans had told him not to go with strangers, but something about this lady made him feel safe. With a gentle hand, she scooped Remy up. "I'm Big Joe," she said, scratching behind his ears. "And you, my little friend, look like you need some help." As Big Joe carried him to her truck, Remy felt nervous but excited. He was scared about being away from his humans, but a little voice told him this was the start of a big adventure. Settling into the passenger seat, Remy looked out at the open road ahead. He didn't know where this journey would take him, but he was ready to face it. "Next stop, Missouri," Big Joe announced cheerfully as the truck engine roared to life. And with that, Remy's unexpected adventure began. Chapter 2. Starry Night Wisdom. As the sun dipped below the horizon, Big Joe's truck rolled into Missouri. Remy's nose twitched with new scents: hay, wildflowers, and something mysterious he couldn't name. "Well, little buddy," Big Joe said, "this is where we part ways. But don't worry, I've got a friend who can help you." Remy's paws touched soft grass as Big Joe set him down near an old red barn. The kind trucker waved goodbye, and a twinge of fear crept back into Remy's heart. "Who goes there?" a deep voice called from above. Remy looked up, his eyes wide. Perched on the barn roof was the biggest bird he'd ever seen. I'm Remy," he squeaked. The bird swooped down, landing gracefully before him. "Welcome, young pup. I am Hoot the Stargazer." Hoot was an owl with feathers like tree bark and eyes that sparkled like golden coins. "Are you lost?" Hoot asked gently. Remy nodded. "I'm trying to get to Pembroke, but I don't know the way." Hoot's eyes twinkled. "Ah, a journey. Every great adventure starts with a single step. But first you must find your courage." Remy tilted his head. "Courage? What's that?" "Courage is being brave even when you're scared," Hoot explained. "It's okay to be afraid, Remy, but don't let fear stop you." Remy pondered this. He was scared, but he also yearned to find his new family. "How do I find my way?" Remy asked. Hoot smiled. "Let me show you something magical." As night fell, the sky filled with twinkling lights. Hoot pointed with his wing. "See that bright star? That's the North Star. It always stays in the same place, helping travelers find their way." Remy's eyes widened. "Wow, the stars can help me." "Indeed," Hoot nodded. "The North Star will always point you east. Remember, Pembroke is in the east." Remy practiced finding the North Star, his tail wagging with excitement. "Thank you, Hoot," Remy said, feeling braver already. Hoot ruffled Remy's fur with his wing. "Remember, young Remy, courage isn't about not being scared. It's about facing your fears and moving forward anyway." As Remy curled up to sleep that night, he gazed at the stars. They twinkled back at him, like friendly eyes watching over him. For the first time since his journey began, Remy felt hopeful. Tomorrow he would continue his adventure. And now, with Hoot's wisdom guiding him, Remy felt ready to face whatever came next. Chapter 3. Campfire courage. The morning sun warmed Remy's fur as a colourful van pulled into the rest stop. Happy voices filled the air. "Look, kids," a man called out. "A puppy?" Remy's tail wagged as a family climbed out. There was a tall man with a big smile, a kind-looking woman, and 2 children, a boy and a girl. "Can we pet him, Mum?" the boy asked eagerly. "Gently, Jack," the woman said. "He might be scared." But Remy wasn't scared. He trotted right up, his little stub of a tail wiggling with joy. "Oh, he's so cute," the girl exclaimed, gently patting Remy's head. "Looks like he's all alone," the man said, frowning slightly. "We can't just leave him here." "Can we take him with us, Dad?" Jack asked. "Please." The parents exchanged a look, then nodded. "All right, but just until we can find his owners." Just like that, Remy had new travel buddies. The family introduced themselves as Mark and Sarah, the parents, and Jack and Emily, the kids. "We're going camping in Illinois," Emily told Remy as she held him. "Have you ever been camping before?" Remy hadn't, but he was excited to try. At the campsite, everyone helped set up the tent. Remy watched in awe as it grew from a pile of fabric into a cozy shelter. As night fell, Mark started a campfire. The flames danced, casting warm light around their camp. Soon the air filled with laughter and the sweet smell of s'mores. Then a low rumble echoed in the distance. Emily's eyes grew wide. Is that thunder?" she whispered. Sarah nodded. "Looks like a storm's coming." Emily huddled closer to her mum, trembling. Remy smelled her fear and remembered Hoot's words about courage. Gently, Remy nuzzled Emily's hand, giving her his bravest puppy smile. "It's okay, Emily," Jack said. "Remember what Dad taught us. Count the seconds between the lightning and thunder. That tells us how far away the storm is." A flash lit up the sky. Emily squeezed her eyes shut, but Remy stayed right by her side. 1, 2, 3. Jack counted. Boom! The thunder rolled. "See?" Mark said gently. "The storm's still far away. We're safe in our tent." Emily nodded, still looking scared. Remy had an idea. He stood on his hind legs and did a little dance, his ears flopping comically. Despite her fear, Emily giggled. "Look at Remy. He's not scared at all." Remy barked softly as if to say, "We can be brave together." As the storm drew closer, the family huddled in the tent. Emily held Remy close, feeling braver with each rumble of thunder. "Thank you, Remy," she whispered. "You're helping me be brave." Remy's heart swelled with pride. He had faced his own fears and helped Emily face hers too. When morning came, the storm had passed. As they packed up, Sarah knelt beside Remy. "You know," she said, scratching behind his ears, "you're a very special puppy. Thank you for being there for Emily." Remy wagged his tail, feeling happy and proud. He had learned something important. Being brave wasn't just about facing your own fears, but also about helping others face theirs. As they got back in the van, ready for the next leg of their journey, Remy knew he was one step closer to finding his way home. "Ready for another adventure, Remy?" Jack asked excitedly. Remy barked happily. He was ready for anything. Chapter 4. Raccoon's Resourcefulness. As the van rolled to a stop, Remy's nose twitched with excitement. New smells filled the air, earthy and wild. "Well, little buddy," Mark said, gently lifting Remy out of the van, "this is where we part ways. But don't worry, I'm sure you'll find your way home." Remy wagged his tail, grateful for their kindness. He watched the family drive away, feeling both sad and excited for his next adventure. As night fell, Remy found himself in a dense Indiana forest. Tall trees loomed mysteriously in the darkness. His tummy rumbled. He hadn't eaten since morning. Suddenly, a rustling came from a nearby bush. Remy's ears perked up. Well, what do we have here?" chirped a voice. Out popped a furry face with a black mask and ringed tail. I'm Remy," the puppy stammered. "Nice to meet you, Remy. I'm Bandit the Resourceful," the raccoon said, eyes twinkling. "You look a bit lost and hungry." Remy's tummy growled in response, making Bandit laugh. "Don't worry, kid. Stick with me, and I'll show you how to survive in style." Bandit led Remy through the forest, pointing out edible berries and juicy grubs under fallen logs. Remy was amazed at how much food was hidden in the woods. "Remember," Bandit said, "adaptability is key. Different places have different foods. You gotta learn to work with what you've got. As they enjoyed their forest feast, Bandit showed Remy how to make a cozy shelter using leaves and branches. It's all about using what nature gives you, Bandit explained. See that hollow log? Perfect spot to stay dry if it rains. Remy soaked up every bit of knowledge, his tail wagging excitedly. Later, Bandit's eyes lit up. Hey, wanna see something cool? Before Remy could answer, Bandit scampered off through the trees. Remy hurried after him, his little legs working hard to keep up. They stopped at the edge of a small clearing. There, in the moonlight, was a field of fireflies, their tiny lights blinking like earthbound stars. Wow! Remy gasped, eyes wide with wonder. Pretty neat, huh? Bandit grinned. Sometimes the best things in life are free. You just gotta know where to look. As they watched the fireflies dance, Remy felt warmth in his heart. He was learning so much, not just about surviving, but about the beauty of the world around him. Thanks, Bandit, Remy said softly. You've taught me a lot. Bandit ruffled Remy's fur. That's what friends are for, kid. Now let's get some shut-eye. Tomorrow's a new day, full of new adventures. As Remy curled up in his leaf pile bed, he thought about all he'd learned. He was becoming braver, smarter, and more resourceful each day. Though he still missed his family, he knew these lessons would help him find his way home. With the gentle glow of fireflies outside and Bandit's soft snoring nearby, Remy drifted off to sleep, ready for whatever tomorrow might bring. Chapter 5. Balloon Rescue in the Sky. Remy's paws ached as he trotted into Ohio. The air smelled different here, a mix of fresh grass and something sweet he couldn't quite name. Suddenly his eyes grew wide with wonder. High up in the sky, a big, colourful balloon floated by. Wow, Remy barked softly. He'd never seen anything like it before. But something wasn't right. The balloon wobbled strangely, dipping and swaying in the wind. Remy's ears perked up as worried voices drifted down from the basket. Oh no, a child cried. We're going the wrong way. Don't worry, sweetie, a grown-up reassured. We'll figure this out. Remy's heart raced. These people needed help. But what could a small puppy do? Then he remembered Hoot the Owl's lesson about the stars. Maybe he could use that to help. Remy ran as fast as his little legs could carry him, following the balloon. He barked loudly, trying to get their attention. The people in the basket looked down. Look, the child shouted. A puppy! Remy barked again and started running east, remembering it was the right direction. That dog seems to want us to follow it, the grown-up said. Maybe it knows a safe place to land. Remy's tail wagged with excitement. They understood. He led them to a big open field, barking and jumping to show them it was safe. Slowly the balloon descended. As soon as it landed, a family climbed out. A mom, a dad, and a little girl. They all looked relieved. Thank you, clever puppy, the little girl said, patting Remy's head. You saved us. Remy's whole body wiggled with joy. He'd used what he learned to help others, and it felt wonderful. The family shared some of their picnic with Remy as a thank you. As he munched on a yummy sandwich, Remy thought about his adventure. He was learning so much and helping others along the way. Curling up to rest that night, with the family nearby in their tent, Remy felt proud. He might be small, but he could do big things. With each step of his journey, he was growing braver and smarter. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, but Remy was ready. He was one step closer to home, and he couldn't wait to see what adventure he'd have next. Chapter 6. Bonnie's Brilliant Ideas. Remy's paws ached as he trotted into Pennsylvania. The air smelled fresh like grass after rain. His tail wagged with pride at how far he'd come. Suddenly he stopped. A bubbling stream blocked his path. Remy's ears drooped. How could he cross? Looks like you've got a puzzle to solve, pup, a friendly voice called. Remy turned to see a beautiful black and white dog with bright amber eyes. Her shiny collar jingled as she approached. I'm Bonnie, she said, tail wagging. Need a paw? Remy introduced himself shyly. I can't get across, he admitted. Bonnie's eyes twinkled. Let's think about this. What do we know? Remy tilted his head, confused. When we have a problem, Bonnie explained, it helps to look at what's right in front of us. See those rocks? Remy nodded, noticing the stones in the stream. Those could be our stepping stones, Bonnie said. But which ones are steady enough? They watched the water flow. Some rocks wobbled, others stayed still. The still ones look safer, Remy said, tail wagging. Great observation, Bonnie praised. Now let's plan our path. They mapped a route using the sturdiest rocks. Bonnie went first, showing Remy how to jump carefully. When it was Remy's turn, fear gripped him. The water looked fast and deep. Remember, Bonnie called, it's okay to be scared, but don't let fear stop you, one step at a time. Remy took a deep breath and jumped. Splash! His paws got wet, but he was okay. He kept going, focusing on each leap. Before he knew it, Remy reached the other side. He barked joyfully, proud of himself. You did it! Bonnie cheered. See? Big problems can be solved with small steps. As they walked, Bonnie taught Remy more about problem solving. Ask questions, look for clues, and try new ideas, she advised. When it was time to part, Remy felt a twinge of sadness. He'd learned so much from Bonnie. Remember, Remy, Bonnie said, nuzzling him. Your brain is just as important as your bravery. You're clever and strong. You can handle anything. Remy's chest swelled with pride. He was learning to use his mind as well as his paws on this big adventure. As he continued his journey, Remy felt more confident than ever. He'd faced many challenges and made many friends. He knew that whatever came next, he had the smarts and courage to find his way home. With a happy bark, Remy trotted on, ready for his next adventure. New York City awaited, full of exciting puzzles to solve. Chapter 7. Big Apple Adventure. Remy's paws touched the hard pavement of New York City. His eyes grew wide as he looked up at buildings that seemed to touch the sky. Sounds and smells filled the air. Honking cars, chattering people, and the scent of yummy food cooking nearby. Wow! Remy barked softly. This place is huge! Suddenly a sea of people rushed by, nearly stepping on Remy's tail. He yelped and scurried to the side, his heart racing. Hey there, little fella! You look a bit lost, a voice called from above. Remy looked up to see a group of pigeons perched on a lamppost. Their shimmery feathers caught the sunlight. I'm Remy, he said, his tail wagging nervously. I'm trying to get to Pembroke. Pembroke, one of the pigeons chuckled. You've got a ways to go, pup, but don't worry, the big apple flyers can help you out. The pigeons introduced themselves as Coo, Feather, Peck, and Wings. They flew down to meet Remy. First things first, Coo said. You got to learn to work as a team in this big city. Watch and learn. The pigeons took off, weaving through the crowded sidewalk in perfect sync. They ducked under legs, zipped around strollers, and even used a hot dog cart as a shortcut. Now you try, Wings called out. Remy took a deep breath and started to run. He tried to copy the pigeons, but he bumped into legs and got turned around. Don't give up, Feather encouraged. We'll guide you. The pigeons flew low, showing Remy the way. Peck cawed when it was safe to cross the street, and Wings pointed out the best spots to rest. Slowly but surely, Remy got better at navigating the busy streets. He learned to watch for safe moments to cross, and found quiet spots to catch his breath. You're getting it, Coo cheered. See? Teamwork makes the dream work. As the day went on, Remy and his new pigeon friends explored the city. They visited Central Park, where Remy rolled in the soft grass. They saw the bright lights of Times Square, which made Remy's eyes sparkle with wonder. This place is amazing, Remy said, his tail wagging happily. It sure is, Peck agreed. But remember, even in a big city like this, it's important to look out for each other. Suddenly they heard a small meow. A tiny kitten had gotten stuck in a storm drain. Oh no, Remy cried. We have to help. The pigeons nodded. Together now, Coo said. Just like we practiced. Remy barked to get people's attention while the pigeons flew around making noise. Soon a kind person noticed and called for help. Before long the kitten was safely rescued. We did it, Remy yipped happily. We really are a great team. As night fell, the Big Apple Flyers led Remy to a cozy spot near the edge of the city. You've learned well, little pup, Wings said proudly. Tomorrow you'll be ready to continue your journey. Remy curled up, feeling tired but happy. He had learned so much about teamwork and navigating tricky situations. As he drifted off to sleep, the city lights twinkled like stars, reminding him of how far he'd come. Almost home, Remy thought sleepily. I can't wait to see what adventures tomorrow brings. And with that, Remy fell asleep, dreaming of his new family and the last leg of his incredible journey. Chapter 8. Home at Last. Remy's paws touched down in Pembroke, Massachusetts. His little body was tired, but his heart brimmed with hope. He had journeyed so far, and now he was finally here. The town was a world away from the big city. Quiet streets lined with pretty houses and trees greeted him. Remy's nose twitched at the scent of fresh-baked bread and blooming flowers. I made it, Remy thought, his tail wagging gently. But where's my new family? For a moment, fear crept in. The town seemed vast and he was lost. Then he remembered all he had learned on his adventure. Be brave, he told himself, recalling Hoot the Owl's words, and use your nose. Remy sniffed the air, searching for any familiar scents. He trotted down the sidewalk, ears perked for helpful sounds. Turning a corner, something caught his eye. There, on a lamppost, was a paper with his picture. Lost puppy, the sign read. French Bulldog named Remy. Remy barked excitedly. His family was looking for him. He followed the trail of posters, his little legs pumping as fast as they could. Each step brought him closer to home. Suddenly, familiar voices reached his ears. Do you think we'll find him, Mum? A boy asked. We have to keep hoping, Ethan, a woman replied. Remy's heart soared. It was them, his new family. He raced towards the voices, barking loudly. As he bounded into the town square, he saw them, the Thompson family, putting up more posters. Look, Emma cried, pointing. Is that Remy? Remy barked again, his whole body wiggling with joy. Remy! The family shouted in unison. They rushed to him, scooping him up in a warm embrace. We've been so worried, Sarah said, happy tears in her eyes. Where have you been, buddy? Mark asked, scratching Remy's ears. Remy couldn't answer in words, but his wagging tail and happy yips told the story of his big adventure. As they walked home, Remy snuggled in Emma's arms, feeling safe and loved. Welcome home, Remy, Ethan said as they stepped inside. Remy gazed around his new home. It was cozy and filled with love, just as he had dreamed. That night, curled up in his soft new bed, Remy reflected on his incredible journey. He had been brave, made new friends, and learned so much. Now he was exactly where he belonged. I'm home, Remy thought happily as he drifted off to sleep. And this is just the beginning of a whole new adventure. And with that, Remy the brave little French Bulldog closed his eyes, dreaming of all the fun he would have with his new family. His big journey had ended, but his greatest adventure, being part of a loving family, was just beginning.
Close your eyes, let your mind ignite. The universe of stories shining bright. Imagination stage a